Hi guys, Laura and the girls here. I just thought I'd come and talk to you today about an issue over here in the UK to do with biologically appropriate raw feeding for dogs, and the truth behind really why vets aren't recommending it, though they do recommend some. And this is all to do with the PFMA, which is the Pet Foods Manufacturers Association. Now, if you produce a raw food and you pay the Pet Food Manufacturers Association, the vets will then recommend that make a food. So it's all coming yet again down to this corrupt system of vets really being dishonest. I mean, I had to ring up and pay a percentage on YY's medication, which I did, and only to be told, oh, we don't approve of raw feeding here. And I was polite about it, unusual for me, but I was. And I said, and why is that? And they said, oh, it's unbalanced, all we see is the downside here. And I said, what downside is that then? And she really had no reply. So I wrote to the guy who owns the vets that I use, because if they're going to be funny about it, I'll just find another vet. I mean, I've put YY onto raw food because of her colitis, her arthritis, and her UTI issue and everything else. Where I buy my raw food, it's DEFRA approved. And I do mean all the meat there is sent away and scientifically tested for everything that any vet could complain about, and they can 100% guarantee that it is safe. And that is the place I get it is called Nurturing by Nature, which was started over 20 years ago by a lovely lady called Nettie. And they have no need to pay to be recommended by vets or advertised in any way, shape or form, because word of mouth has turned them into a huge business here. And I buy directly from the factory outlet, where we have a veterinary nurse who you can discuss your dog's particular issues, and we adjust the diet accordingly. I am in no way an expert on raw feeding. There are other people here, and I think it's very essential you do your own research. But I am going to name the companies that have paid the Pet Food Manufacturers Association to be recommended by vets, okay? I'll put my very unattractive glasses on, but when you're as old as I am, it doesn't really matter, does it? Right, all these brands have paid to be recommended by the vets. Any food that your vet recommends, the manufacturer, be it dry food kibble or wet food or a science diet, they have paid the vets to recommend them. So please don't be sucked in by everything a vet may say to you. Please do your own research. I mean, it's the same with vaccinations, which I covered in earlier videos, which I might actually put back up, I don't know. But anyway, here's the list of those that have paid the vets to manufacture them, okay? This is here in the UK only, though Nature's Menu I will discuss because there has been a change in them. Right, here's the list. Benefit Natural, Durham Animal Feed, Honey's Real Dog Food, who I must say are extremely expensive, Natural Instinct, Nature's Menu, Nutriman, TPMS, and Wolf Tucker. Now all those, the vet is on my vet's recommended list of raw food suppliers, though they are still against it because apparently it's unbalanced. Any diet, if not done correctly, is going to be unbalanced. Dogs don't need carbohydrates at all, and there should be no cereal whatsoever in your dog's diet, none, or any grains. Frankly, you don't need grains. They don't need grains. I mean, when did you last see a dog running through a wheat field biting it off? It doesn't happen. Dogs will self-medicate with things like stinging nettles, and there are supplements like Keeper's Mix, which I use, which has got a variety of things. It's made by a company called Dorwest, which is spelled DORWEST, and Keeper's Mix was made in 1948 by a gamekeeper and that helps with coat, skin, gut, etc., and does actually include seaweed, stinging nettles, and various other things. And if you're interested, please look on the Door West website, which is obviously doorwest.co.uk. But please, I just wanted to make you aware, you know, that anything that your vet recommends, they're being paid to recommend. You know, all those companies I'm sure, though, you know, I can't guarantee this, are not DEFRA approved, nor are they, every piece of meat being sent away to be tested. You know, I mean, Nurturing by Nature, which is based here in Dorset, you know, it's just up the road from me, the factory outlet, they've got another shop as well, is an incredible source. You know, I mean, they do base, you start, obviously, your dog on ground chicken and chicken bone, because you've got to have the bone. You can't be giving raw meat without any bone, because you mess up your calcium and phosphorus level in your dog, and will give your dog an upset stomach and that terrible diarrhea that they can get if you don't add bone. Where I buy it from, they suggest the first week is just chicken and bone, and it's all comes all ground up for you in a 700 gram tub. 700 grams is £1.19, and if you compare that with the others, it's ridiculous. I mean, Honey's is a ridiculous price. They're really, really expensive, and it all might be free range this and free range that and all the rest of it, and ethically sourced and what have you. You know, I have spoken to them, but it's extremely expensive. You know, Nurturing by Nature do deliver all over England, and as I said, it's 100% guaranteed safe. So I just wanted you to be aware of this. Please don't blindly be following vets, you know. I mean, I have discussed this at length with my own vet. You know, I mean, obviously the veterinary nurse or whoever I spoke to when I rang up to pay my bill was speaking from a place of no knowledge at all. You know, it's you know, to say that we here at I'm a bit loath to name my vet, but here we don't advocate for raw feeding at all. And having been in touch with Graham, that's not what he's saying at all. They have put out a leaflet explaining why, and they are actually saying they're against any food, be it kibble, which I would never feed, because it's look, you're getting you know, about 4% meat in that. If you want to feed it, you go ahead, but it's not going to be doing your dog any good whatsoever. And especially with the 150% raising cancer, which is, in my opinion, for what that's worth to anybody, a mixture of over-vaccination and rubbish food. You know, that the time has come for people to start realising the dogs were made to eat raw food. You know, yeah, I do use raw blended vegetables, which are also sold in little tubs, you know, for like 70p or something for 400 grams, and I just slam a forkful in there. And she gets that once a day. You know, so everything is raw in this house, and obviously, yes, it's all frozen. I don't feed salmon because of the risk of salmon poisoning disease, although I have been assured by Nettie, who runs the company, that where the salmon are farmed, there is no chance of that happening, but I'm just not prepared to take risks with my dogs. So I hope this is of some use to you. So, you know, if your vet turns around and say, oh, such and such a food is PFMA recommended, that means it's recommended by a pet food manufacturer, and all they're interested in is taking your money. They don't care if your dog dies at 9, 10, 11, they don't care. They never will care, because it's about making money. And you know, all these companies that are supposedly making, you know, good raw food are paying to be advertised. And yet the really good ones have no need for advertisement. Anyway, I hope this is of some interest to you, and please take care of your dogs. You know, they're very special, each and every one of them, and look after them well. Train them. I'm so sick as a dog trainer of where I take Zed to work her, because she's unconscious now because we've just got back from training, the amount of dogs that are out of control, and several dogs have got ASBOs, that's antisocial behaviour orders here in the UK, because they're out of control. You know, taking your dog out and throwing balls for it is not enough. They need to be mentally stimulated, and that means training. Dogs love to train, especially working line breeds. If you don't want to train, don't get a working line dog. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I hope you're all doing really well. Take care, everybody. Stay well. Bye for now.